What's going on, everybody? Project Rodder here, and it is time for racing here in the World Finals 2 for the Monster Jam Steel Titans 2 sign-up series. Just a quick reminder, don't forget to check out my Patreon for early access and exclusive content, link on screen and in the description below. Driftboy912 and El Toro Loco is your World Finals 2 high jump champion. Aside from setting a new record, this is his first championship, so huge congratulations to him. This is the leaderboards for the event championship here in World Finals. As you can see, Monster Dalmatian and April Summers currently in the lead with 25 points. Mohawk Warrior right behind her with 22, and Max D and Ethan Waters in third with 20. This is the Stadium Series leaderboard. As you can see, Dalmatian on top with 229, though Northern Nightmare creeping up just behind her by 2 points. Max D sitting in third, Bakugan in fourth. So at this point, there's 3 more events, 3 more opportunities to get points. But before we get anywhere near that, let's go ahead and get started with racing here in Orlando for World Finals 2. This is the racing bracket. Digger and Mohawk Warrior both getting the bye runs into round 2 for being the top 2 qualifiers of the World Finals. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started with round 1. And what a better way to start World Finals 2 racing than having the championship race of World Finals 1 ran. Last time in World Finals 1, Northern Nightmare was on top. He is the reigning World Finals racing champion. As you can see, that 10-4 racing record this year, an amazing season he's had. But he ended up on top over Alien Invasion and ultimately won the championship. This is Cecily 96's chance to win it back. But it looks like Northern Nightmare will be taking the win away from Alien Invasion. She will not be progressing further in the bracket. So, that being said, Northern Nightmare and Alex Stevens 27 will be advancing to round 2 to face Digger and try to defend his racing title, as the second race of round 1 will be Gas Monkey Garage and Ryan Hayward against Brian the Dog Webb and Bakugan Dragonoid. There's their racing records for the season. Gas Monkey Garage and Ryan Hayward being in the Stadium Series in Season 1 and then being the runner-up in the Arena Series for Season 2, which brought him here today. So he has an amazing opportunity here to come out with a championship. Last time around, Alien Invasion was the winner of the Arena Series and made it to the semifinals, or to the final round. So let's see if Gas Monkey can do the same. It's going to be a close race, though. We're going to have to wait and see for the official times. And Gas Monkey Garage just barely getting by Bakugan Dragonoid and taking that win, moving on to round 2. Very upsetting for Bakugan, but it was a super close race. You can't beat that. Blue Thunder and Avenger now for this third race of round 1. Nitro Studios in Blue Thunder and Nick Moore. He's an Avenger. There's their racing records for the season. Not the best on either end, unfortunately, though, you know, is what it is at this point as they're going to the second to final turn. Blue Thunder, though, one racing win this season in Glendale. Last season when MT World Media was behind the wheel, he had 2 wins in Blue Thunder, but he will ultimately take the win. A nice celebration, moonwalk, stoppy moonwalk, if you will. So he will be advancing to round 2 to face Gas Monkey Garage and Ryan Hayward, as Crush Station, your Arena Series Season 2 winner, will be facing Monster Dalmatian and April Summers, who last season was the favorite going into World Finals racing, although hasn't had the best season this season in terms of racing. You can see that 5-5 racing record. Crush Station just barely edging her out in that category. And some trouble for April Summers as she's on 2 wheels and she's flipping over and on her lid. Crush Station will be taking the easy win into round 2. Very unfortunate, and he's slamming the brakes trying to not crash into the barriers over there in those other trucks. So he'll be moving on to round 2. A very unfortunate outing for April Summers and Monster Dalmatian. I'm sure she's very unhappy with this, as this is really going to affect her standings in the points at this time, given that she's has a 2-point lead. So that's going to hurt her a lot. But here comes Max D and Ethan Waters against Blake Bell and Monster Mutt. There's their racing records. Max D, though, rocking that beautiful gold body scheme, paint job. I'm sure it was for celebration of his freestyle win last season, but Monster Mutt with some trouble. Max D's going to get the easy win, just fresh off of a win in Detroit in the last race of the season. But he'll be moving on, as Monster Mutt had some horrible trouble there coming off that jump. Some of that beautiful gold body coming off as he's advancing to round 2. But as I was saying, he's probably using that as a celebration of his freestyle championship in World Finals 1. He is your reigning World Finals Freestyle champion, so be sure to check that out if you haven't yet. But El Toro Loco now versus Zombie, our last race of round 1. El Toro Loco fresh off of the high jump win, now rocking the black paint scheme. Beautiful truck. There's the racing records of the season. Zombie has the edge over El Toro Loco, although it looks like he may be ahead of him just a bit. He may take the win, and he will. An easy win for El Toro Loco and Drip.9 win 2. Unfortunate for Zombie, as he was going to face some trouble there. Luckily got back into the race lane, avoiding any further damage or possible casualties. This is the racing bracket for round 2 of tonight's event. As you can see, it's pretty stacked. We're going to have to wait and see what happens as we move on to round 2. It's going to be Gravedigger rocking that beautiful inverse paint scheme, and Northern Nightmare, the reigning World Finals racing champion, who's going to be on top. Gravedigger was your fastest qualifier of the night, although El Toro Loco just put the fastest time we've seen so far at tonight's event, rocking that 19.92. But there are the racing records for each truck. Gravedigger just behind Northern Nightmare. Gravedigger being one of the favorites going into racing. So it's going to all come down to this. Gravedigger getting the racing win over Northern Nightmare in Toronto at the beginning of the season. Northern Nightmare, though, with the better record and getting a win in Indy, and he's moving on to the semifinals. Gravedigger, though, going into the seats there. Hopefully everything is okay, and there's Gravedigger. Very, very scary moment there. Though he seems to be okay. Nobody's hurt. We're going to just have to inspect everything as we move on to the next competitions. But let's see Blue Thunder and Gas Monkey Garage now, as one of my favorites was just knocked out. Northern Nightmare is still my favorite to win this whole thing and be back-to-back, although Gravedigger was my second option. But let's see who's going to face him in these semifinals. And Blue Thunder now facing the same fate as Monsterma Dalmatian, and he's on his lid. Gas Monkey getting the easy win going into the semifinals to face Northern Nightmare. So another Arena Series truck facing Northern Nightmare and Alex Stevens, 27. This is going to be interesting, as Blue Thunder, a very unfortunate fate for him tonight. Let's go ahead and move on to the third race of round 2. It's going to be Max D versus Crush Station. Let's see if another Arena Series truck, the Arena Series winner for Season 2, can make it to the semifinals, or if Max D is going to move further down in the bracket and up the amount of points he gets for the Stadium Series win. So there it is again. He got a win in Detroit, the last event before World Finals, so he's fresh off of a win, and he looked pretty even, although Crush Station slowed down a bit, and Max D is going to get the win here. Crush Station, some trouble slamming into the barrier there. Should be good. We'll inspect it before we move on, but Max D will be advancing to the semifinal round as we come to the last race of round 2. It's going to be El Toro Loco versus Mohawk Warrior. El Toro Loco so far has put on the fastest time of the night here with that 19.92, although Mohawk Warrior was second fastest in qualifying here in Orlando. So who knows, Mohawk Warrior does have the better racing record, but you saw the fate of Zombie in round 1, so we're going to have to wait and see. It's all going to come down to this final turn. El Toro Loco looks to have the edge, and he does. He will be moving on to the semifinals to face Max D, but both flipping finishes after the finish line. Let's go ahead and take a look at the replay of El Toro Loco there, rolling over, slamming into the container there to wind up on his side. Hopefully everything's okay and he can advance, but Mohawk Warrior, the same fate, a front flip after the race lane jump and crashing into the stands there. Hopefully everybody's okay. El Toro Loco again moving on to the semifinals, but again, hopefully nothing is damaged on the truck and he can move on. But the same thing could be said about Mohawk Warrior, given that he had a very violent rollover and crashed into the stands. But before we move on to the semifinals, we're going to recap every round and talk about W Energy. Be better with W Energy. Don't forget to use code Project Rod to get 10% off of your W Energy order. You guys, this stuff is great. It tastes amazing, keeps you awake, keeps you motivated. Peach and Peach is the best flavor. Use code Project Rod to get 10% off your order. Don't forget to check out my Discord. Link is in the description below, as well as my Instagram at Project Rod and my TikTok at Project Rod. I try to upload daily, although it just depends. If you like what you see, be sure to place a like And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join me on my road to 1,000 subscribers. We're almost there. We're under 30 to get to 1,000 as we look at the crashes from round 2. So, very crazy finish for round 2 as we move on to the semifinals. It's going to be Northern Nightmare versus Gas Monkey Garage and Max D versus El Toro Loco. So things are getting interesting. Northern Nightmare has a chance to move on to the final round and go back to back in racing, and Gas Monkey Garage has a huge opportunity here to make it to the finals and come out on top with a World Finals Championship. There are their racing records as we begin the semifinal race. Going into the turn, Northern Nightmare has almost double the winning percentage that Gas Monkey does. Looking pretty even so far. It's all going to come down to this final turn here, and Gas Monkey has the edge, it looks like. And he does, just barely beating out Northern Nightmare, so he is out. Alex Stevens, 27, will not be defending his racing championship. Gas Monkey Garage and Ryan Hayward moving to the final round. Very unfortunate for Northern Nightmare, but this should help him out in the point standing. But before we get to that, let's see who Gas Monkey Garage will be facing in the final round. It's going to be Max D and Ethan Waters against El Toro Loco and Drift Boy 912. Both of these trucks have an opportunity. Both of these trucks and drivers have an opportunity to become a 2-time World Finals champion. Max D having the freestyle win in World Finals 1. El Toro Loco having the high jump win here in World Finals 2. But it looks like Max D's going to have the better edge over El Toro Loco. He'll be moving on to face Gas Monkey Garage and Ryan Hayward in the championship round. So big moment, big opportunity for both of these drivers, as Gas Monkey Garage and Ryan Hayward coming fresh out of the runner-up spot in the Arena Series, and Max D having an opportunity to become a 2-time World Finals champion. But let's go ahead and get this going. That beautiful gold paint job for Max D and Ethan Waters. Who's it going to be? Are we going to have a first ever 2-time champ here in the Monster Jam Steel Titans 2 sign-up series? Or will Gas Monkey Garage and Ryan Hayward get their first World Finals championship? Is all going to come down to this. Max D so far has the edge. Coming to the last turn, Max D does it first. If he can do it cleanly, we have a 2-time champ, and we do have a 2-time champ. 19.91 for Max D, Ethan Waters, and Max D is your World Finals 2 racing champion. Huge congratulations to Ethan Waters and Max D. A nice reverse flip off the container for celebration, as he is ecstatic. I'm sure he is. Max D and Ethan Waters, again, your World Finals 2 racing champion here tonight, and that's going to help him tremendously in the point stands as well. Not to mention, we have our first ever 2-time World Finals champion. So huge congratulations to Max D and Ethan Waters. It's been a great season, and to top it all off, he is now your racing champion and has an opportunity to become a 3-time, even a 4-time with skills and freestyle next. But this is your racing bracket after everything was said and done. Max D, a huge win. Everybody did amazing. But before we get to the point standing, let's go ahead and look at Whiplash and Morales TCS coming out for a encore following up the racing championship. She was from the Arena Series, originally from the Stadium Series. Unfortunately got eliminated in Season 1 and got demoted down to the Arena Series, and had an opportunity to come back. She was killing it in the Arena Series until she went a little cold. Tied for 3rd place with 90 points. As I said, she started off incredibly hot, getting multiple wins in multiple different stops. But unfortunately, when it came to the end, seems like she just ran out of gas. But not to take away from the amazing season she had, because, man, she had some memorable moments as she kills it right now in this freestyle encore run. But there's her qualifying numbers on the season. Not the best qualifier. The highest she got was 2nd. Though, again, not to take away from the amazing season she had. And unfortunately, this may be the last time we see her. And a beautiful save there. There is her average high jump, 37.16 feet, with 1 win in Portland for high jump. So, again, she just had an amazing season and had multiple wins throughout the season, but just went a little cold towards the end there. There is her racing record, 5-4 with 1 win in Greensboro. So qualifying wasn't the best, but she could race, and trouble here. No, she's able to keep it on all fours and continue her encore. Although most of the body's already off of the truck, let's go ahead and take a look at her average skill score. With one win in Wichita, she had a 9.121, one of the highest average skill scores amongst all the Arena Series and the Stadium Series drivers. So she knew what she was doing. She had the experience of the Stadium Series and was able to really let her shine in the Arena Series. There's her average freestyle score, a 30, with 2 wins in Wichita and in Portland. So, I mean, again, that experience from the Stadium Series really helped her out. It's just she got cold at the wrong time. But Morales TCS and Whiplash, everybody, huge thank you to her for an amazing season, both in Season 1 and Season 2. So thank you so much, Morales TCS, for being a part of this. And let's go ahead and move on to the point standings. As you can see, Northern Nightmare has claimed his #1 spot yet again over April Summers and Monster Mutt Dalmatian. 239 points to Dalmatian's 230. Max D right behind Dalmatian, though, with 229. So 2 more events to go. It's anybody's game at this point. But this is the event championship leaderboards, as Max D now has 34 points. Mohawk Warrior still in second with 31, and El Toro Loco now in third with 30. Don't forget to check out my Patreon for early access and exclusive content. Link on screen and in the description below. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and it is now time to crown our skills champion in the next one. See you guys then.